What's up, guys? It is Missy, and we are going to talk about, guess what? SimCity Build It again. I know. Big shock, right? Anyways, like, subscribe, actually do it. Don't just like, oh, she said it, but, I'm just going to sit here and listen to her talk for fun and not actually. Anyways, and then click the like button too. So, we're going to talk about Daniel. What is he? Why is he in the game? And I know many of you are probably thinking, yeah, that stupid bastard always stealing my shit. I hate that dude, right? And I'm telling you, me and Daniel, we got a love-hate relationship. Very, very much so. And I'm going to tell you why I like him and why I hate him, but he is actually a very good part of the game. It's something that not many people pick up on. And I kind of want to explain what his benefit role is in the game and how he benefits you. Because probably you guys are probably thinking in the back of your head, he don't benefit me at all. This bitch is crazy. He stole my shit. But he does. He really does. And it's something that you guys you don't realize. And it's something that you will notice once you start running the proper production guide and you actually start making the items that turn the highest profit. Okay? There's going to be items that you are forced to make in the game to do certain assignments for the contest of mayors. There's ways that you're going to run your production line to where you're going to there's things that you can make for the contest of mayors, to do your epic projects, based on what you're doing. It's going to be based on how you run your production. Essentially, the reason that you need so much storage is because you need to be able to hold a wide variety of items for the things that you need to accomplish within your game. If you look at the production guides for this game, for people that don't break it down mathematically, it can be very misleading. You can look at a production guide and see a higher per minute value on an item and assume that that means that you should make that item. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the correct item to make. So, for example, if I was to tell you that a smoothie turns a higher profit than a donut, you guys would be like, yeah, because it takes more time to make a donut, right? Or it takes more time to make a smoothie in real time or whatever, some people would say that. But the bottom line is this. Why is it, and I'm talking from start to finish, if you produce every single item that goes into making that smoothie, okay? You're going to have to add up the seeds for 20 minutes, the shovel, the metal, the wood, the plastic to make the shovel, the saplings, the melons, the veggies, and then the actual smoothie. Once you add that up and you divide that by the total amount that you sell the smoothie for, that is how much money you made per minute making that smoothie. Then you have actual time. Because you can make things simultaneously in this game. So when you're making your 20 minutes worth of seeds, you can make the amount of seeds that you need, but still make the metal, the wood, and the plastic all at the same time, right? Then you can be making your shovel at the same time that you're making the seeds. Then you can be making your saps at the same time that you're making your shovel, and you can be making melons at the same time you're making all that stuff. But you can't make melon and veggies at the same time. So you have actual time and you have total time, right? So really what truly matters is, which items are you making? Are you making stuff in your shops? Or are you making stuff in your factories? That's going to play a huge role. Why is it that you don't want to make smoothies versus donuts? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because you want to look at what the total amount of what you can make in one day is. So in a 16-hour time frame, let's just say that you're on the game for if you sleep for 8 hours and you have a 16-hour day, that's 960 minutes for a 16-hour day, right? So if you can make X amount of smoothies in a 24-hour day, how do you produce enough melons to do that? You can't. So you end up with not only a loss of profit because you can't make enough melons, but you also end up with a loss of profit from your other shops, the ones that now because you chose to do that, now you're missing money in your garden store. You're missing money in your hardware store. You're not able to make hammers, to make chairs. You're not able, there's a lot of things. So you have to take all things into consideration. And that is why you end up turning a higher profit making donuts per day than making smoothies, because of the total amount that you can have completed. So that being said, why is Daniel important to this conversation? Well, you have supply and demand, right? So a lot of people, they make items based off of whether or not they can sell them quickly. And in this game, you don't have to do that. So somebody used a metaphor. Me and him, we talked on the phone. He's from Hawaii, and he's a really intelligent dude. And we talk from time to time. When we get on the phone, we usually talk for like 4 hours. But, you know, we both have a really interesting perspective. And he had used an analogy the other day when we were on the phone, and I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to use that in one of my videos to explain why it is the way that it is. So he went to Juilliard, he went and took accounting classes. You know, he's a really intelligent guy. And he was talking about, you know, the actual time, the phantom cost, just everything, using all these fancy words for accounting and all this shit, right? And he says supply and demand. And he used this analogy, and he said, if you have an iPad, if you have one iPad, right, and you only have one iPad, you're going to try to sell that one iPad for a decent amount of money because you only have one. But if you have, let's say that I had an iPad that I wanted to sell for $1,000 because I only had one. But then somebody shows up at my house and they drop off 10,000 iPads. I'm going to lower the cost. I'm going to lower the price of the iPad because now I have more of them and I want to get rid of them faster, right? Well, okay, I can understand that. So why is that important to this game? What was his point? His point was that if he makes specific items and they don't sell quickly, he's going to have a problem where his shops are going to back up because he's not going to be able to collect the stuff that he needs to collect from his shops because of not having enough storage space, right? Well, in this game, that actually is not, that's not quite how it works. So first thing, the most profitable items to make in this game, most people don't make. And when they do, they sell like hotcakes, okay? When you make nails, they're going to sell like you wouldn't believe, okay? And those are really profitable. They're the highest profitable. Yeah, no, those are really profitable. So why do nails sell so quickly? Why are they so profitable, but yeah, nobody makes them? That's crazy. Why would you not? Well, the other thing too is how many times, how many times does your game ask you for nails? Just throughout your gameplay, whether it be, you know, VU, like repair, house upgrades, fucking anything, right? How many times do you pay or do you need a burger, right? Not very often, because when you do, you normally re-roll. Like, let's say that you needed burgers for your house upgrade. Normally, when that happens, it usually asks you for a lot of items, and you just end up re-rolling it anyways. So it's not very often that it asks you for these types of things. And when it does, usually you have one or two in your storage anyways. You don't have to go and buy it. It's usually something that you got from like a gift box or something, right? So if the supply and demand is, if the algorithm works like this, global takes everything that everybody has advertised for sale, right? And it makes what's visible to you is only visible to you based off of your city level. So already you take this ginormous pool of items that gets sold, and then you split it into categories based off the person's level. So they're not able to see anything for sale than what's above their level or what's at their level. So that being said, if every single person in the game can see metal, they have to, it makes it very thin, right? For everybody to see it. If everybody in the game is buying everything, every storage item that pops up, and everybody has storage unlocked to see it, it's going to be a very scarce item. You're not going to see it very much. Now, the reason that you see so many burgers on the global market is because they don't get purchased very often, right? And because obviously somebody out there is making them. Which, why, I don't know, because burgers have got to be the stupidest thing you can make. They literally cut costs in all your shops. They screw you over in every possible way imaginable. Now, if you're a burger farmer, that means you go and buy burgers for the cheapest possible value that you can, and you sell it to the game bubbles that pop up because they do a markup. But that means that you would be disposing of all those extra burgers on the global market and selling them to the bubbles that pop up, which means they'd be thrown away from the game, right? Now, why is Daniel important to this conversation? Why is it important that you sell your items quickly? Why is that of an importance to you? Because you're broke? Well, what if I told you that if you stopped running your shops like garbage, that you would not be broke, so you would not need to sell your items quickly? So let me ask you this. In his analogy, he said that he would be selling, if he could sell an iPad for $1,000, if he only had one. Then he says, but now that I have so many, I'm going to sell that same iPad for $500, right? Because now I have a lot of them. Now here's Missy's way of thinking. Missy's way of thinking is, well, why would I do that? Why would I do that when I have a guaranteed sale? And that's where Daniel comes in. Daniel is your guaranteed sale. Why would you sell the iPad to Billy for $500 when you could sell it to Daniel for $1,000? You just have to wait a little bit more time. That's foolish. That's absolutely foolish. So, well, then you might say, well, because I don't want to wait, because I'm broke. Well, you wouldn't be broke if you were doing it correctly. That's the whole point. So you have the few things that you would be making that might sit in your depot for a while, but for the most part, if you run your production 100% correctly, you're going to be making items that sell fast, hella fast. You're not going to be stuck sitting there. The people that say this, that say they can't sell stuff, is because they're making the wrong stuff. They're making shit like burgers and pizzas. Okay, pizzas are good to make if you can buy some of those materials, right? They are profitable, but you got to buy the beef and the cheese. You got to make the flour and buy the beef and the cheese. And if you do that, how often do you see beef on Global? How often do you see cheese on Global? If you got a bunch of beef and cheese, even if you made 12 pizzas, all you got to do is use 2 depot spots to post 5 and 5, and then drop the price of the item just a little bit. Just enough to where somebody is like, okay, that's definitely not max price. I think I can make money off that. People do weird things, man. Advertising and stuff. People do some weird shit. So let's say I have 5 ice cream, right? Everybody recognizes this to be the maximum price. If I go like this, does that look appealing? No, it looks more expensive, if anything, because it has 2 9s at the end. Now let's say that I drop the price just a little bit, like that. That they know is definitely not max price, but it's still like a 7. So let's go with like a 2 or a 3 or a 1. Now it looks like even more of a better deal because now the last number, you don't look at all the numbers in between. You look at the first and the last. If you see a 9 at the end, you're thinking, yeah, you only marked it down a penny, you bastard, right? But now you're like, oh, okay, that looks like a much better deal, right? And this one is going to sell much faster. So and the way that it used to work, and I don't know if it still is this way because I haven't timed it in a long time, but the way that it used to work is if I advertised something for 12 hours to the global market and it did not get purchased within that 12 hours, the global market advertisement goes away after 12 hours. Now that is still correct because it says right there, the little global symbol says advertises for 12 hours. After that 12 hours is there, that global symbol goes away. Now, what I don't know is if it's still 24 hours from that time that Daniel will buy it, if it's been advertised. That's how it used to be. Then, if you did not advertise it, it would sit there for 48 hours, right? So if you advertise it at least once, he should buy it within 24 hours. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's changed. I'm going to time it, actually, but for now, that's just pretend that's the rule of thumb. If you know what it is, then you know what it is. That being said, if you have 32 depot slots available, right, and you put these items all the way to the end, and you keep them off the global market, Why is it important to you that you sell your items instantly if you're not broke and you have spaces available in your depot to sell things? It's not. You can push all these to the right side of your depot. Maybe even if you had taken up 10 slots, you still have a lot more left, right? Now, here's the other thing. The stuff that we tell you to make money, it sells quick, okay? We tell you to make flour day and night, donuts day and night, melons at night if you're a higher level player. We tell you to make caps. Those sell very quickly. We tell you to make blue text. Those ones, they don't sell too quickly, but they do sell, okay? They do sell. Donuts sell super fast. Nails sell super fast. Cement sells really fast, but if you're a higher level player, do not sell the cement. Turn it into gnomes, okay? Anytime you see glue on Global, buy it. That way you can make gnomes. Now, TVs. That is one thing you're going to be making. TVs and bulbs, and you're going to see those on Global all the time. And you know what? They're a pain in the butt to sell. They really are. And those are going to be the things that sit on the right side of your depot. The pink drinks are another one of the things that we tell you guys to make. But that's only if you can either buy the melons or you use the 6 melons that you make at nighttime as a higher level player to make those pink drinks. Okay? Those and the TVs are going to be the main things that you make that are hard to sell. Everything else is going to be super easy to sell that we tell you to make. Now, if you're making things like ice cream, I really hope that you're buying the bread rolls and buying the cream, because otherwise you're losing money, okay? And let me fix that. When I say you're losing money, I mean you're losing the opportunity to make money. You're not technically losing. If you choose to make donuts in your shop and make money versus making something else, you didn't lose what you didn't have. You lost the opportunity to make more. But this is why Daniel is so important in the game. Because of this, he also clears up a lot of stuff. So like, let's say for a minute that you were to take Daniel out of the game, okay? And you were forced to sell these items to the global market. How flooded do you think the global market would be with burgers, with bulbs, with TVs, with war items? If nobody buys your war items, then what? Especially when you have one war item. People bitch about some of the craziest things in this game, and they don't realize that they really are very important dynamics of the game. The global market, having a search menu, would kill the game. The whole purpose of the game would just die, okay? You wouldn't have any reason. How would an epic project even be challenging if you could just search for everything? How would you ever find anything if everybody was able to just search for stuff? What would be the point in producing anything? Why? Oh, to put stuff for sale for people? Well, why? A lot of people would just say, fuck it, let everybody else do the work. Then you'd have even less items on Global. How many people would just max out their storage immediately? That's not going to allow SimCity to make any money off you. They make money off you needing to make items. The whole game, the other SimCities were based on the actual city building. This one is based off items. Every single thing has to do with time and items. That's all it's about. The tokens are the epic projects are all based on how you can speed up your time. The factories, the raw material, being raw materials, the shops, the upgrades, needing actual items to build them, the way that you get your keys, everything, it is all based on items, okay? And you're going to need all the items in the game at some point. So there's ways that you want to run your production. If you're trying to make maximum coin, you run your production a specific way. If you're trying to prep for an epic, you're going to run your production a different way. There's certain things you're going to make to keep and certain things you're going to make to sell. That is one of the biggest problems that people have. They make items and they make all items and they don't manage their storage properly. They either have too many damn cities and they can't keep up, or they have one city and they take advice from somebody who sits there with 6 cities and makes 1 million items, okay? There's people out there that will tell you, make all items in the game because you're going to need them at some point, right? Yeah, no shit. But that's not true. That's not true when it comes to making money, right? And it's really easy for that person to say when they're sitting there with 7 depots full of like 70 of each item, right? Okay, so you're running 6 cities and you're holding 70 of each item. And I'm over here running 1 city with 600 storage or 300 storage or even lower. And you're telling me to just make every item and just keep a back stock and never shop global. I would never buy anything because I'm just going to make everything and hold everything all at once. That's not possible with 1 city. You can't play like that with 1 city. Yeah, you can make every item with 1 city. Yeah, you can never shop on global with 1 city, sure. But how far do you really think you're going to get? How broke do you think you're going to be? If you want to do a house upgrade and it costs a smoothie, for example, if you're somebody that sits there and waits all day for that smoothie to get done versus buying it on global, what's the point? Why? Why not? I've never understood that. So let me get this right. You want to make sure that you make all the items, right? So you have a house upgrade that, let's just say it costs 1 smoothie for the upgrade. And you decide, okay, I'm going to start making the melons and the saps and everything else. And you make the smoothie. And you waited X amount of time to get the smoothie done, right? That day, okay, well, I have my smoothie done now. I'm going to go sell it. Why didn't you just go buy one and then sell the one you made? Or better yet, why didn't you make the proper items that turn the highest profit, make the highest coins possible, and then when you need stuff, when you need to stock up on things that you actually don't want to sell, you're going to break your storage down into sections. You're going to say, these are the things that I can easily obtain on the global market. There's no sense in me holding 10 burgers when I know I can get them at any time. There's no sense in holding suits or pizzas or TVs and bulbs and things like that, because I can get those on global all the time. But can I easily obtain nails? Can I easily obtain melons and tapes and shovels? No, I cannot. So I'm going to hold those items in a higher amount. That way I have them available when I need them. But more importantly, I'm not going to be broke all day because I'm running my production line correctly. So I can either choose to run my shop and make $10,000 in this much time, or I can run my shop for the same amount of time with me selling the items regardless, but make quadruple the money. Why would you choose to make less when you could make more? That is my point, right? So if you're looking at the items that you need within your game, then you need to take time for that and say, okay, look, I know I'm going to be doing an epic project tomorrow. So in the morning when I start my epic, I know that I'm going to want to have a lot of backpacks and microwaves and popcorn and paint and things like that. So instead of me running my production line 100% correctly to make money, now I'm just going to run this 12-hour time frame or whatever the amount of time I sleep on the things that I need to make. And then in the morning, I'm not going to collect on my shops just yet. I'm going to start my epic. And then as I go through my epic, I will pick up my shops. That way I can maximize all the items I can hold, right? And then once I've finished with my epic, I'm not going to be the person that goes and makes the biggest mistake that people make and sell off all my good shit to make money back, to end up doing an epic the next day and have to find all those items again. Why would you do that? That is foolish. You should be looking at it and going, okay, I'm broke. My epic's done. I've got, this is what the inventory I have left. I'm going to sell off the stuff that I do not need, that is not difficult to get, things like burgers and pizzas. I'm not going to sell off my paint and my cement and my cheese because I need quick coins for my next epic so that you can go out and buy those same items again if you're lucky to find them. No. Save those. Say, okay, I've got 7 cheese. I'm going to need about 13 more of those. And then you're going to go through your inventory and you're going to build it up again. And you're going to go into your shops and you're going to say, okay, when do I have my next epic plan for? If it's back to back and you have enough coins to do that, then just make the next round of com prep items you need, or epic prep items that you would need. But if you're going to take some time to make some money, then say, okay, I'm going to clear my shops out and I'm going to run the production guide to make the maximum coins available. I'm not going to sit here and sell off my paint which I know it is foolish of me to do because I'm going to end up having to make it again later, right? Because I'm not going to find it again later. And if I did find it again later, I would be paying the same amount I sold it for. So what's the fucking point in selling it, right? I mean, come on, man. You gotta be smarter in the game a little bit. So then go to your depot, okay? Post the things that you do not need, the things like pizzas and burgers and ice creams, stuff that's super easy to obtain. Put it all the way to the right side of your depot. If you're not hurting for money right away, leave it unadvertised. If you're going to bed, advertise it. If you don't need coins right away, don't worry about it. Knock the price down a little bit, like what I showed you just now. It usually will be sold by morning, okay? But do not sell your good items. When I post things like this for people, I posted these ladders for CPT's Epic. My stuff is not global. I would never global ladders, okay? I'm not going to fill my depot up for just to sell the items. Anytime that my depot's full and has paint or tape or cheese or whatever, it is not because I'm selling those to make money. I would never do that. That's foolish. I sell them so that people can use them. So when I see people come to my depot and they wipe my whole depot out, that really pisses me off because it's like, dude, I'm not doing that just to sell it to make money. I'm doing it to help you guys out so that when you have an Epic or a Contest of Mayors assignment and you need 5 tape, it's there. It's not because I needed the money that badly to where I sold my tape. I would not do that. If I needed the money that badly, I certainly would not have sold tape. I would have sold something else that turns a higher profit, certainly, okay? So there's a lot of things within this game that people gripe and complain about, like sugar, Daniel, things like that. And they are so important to the way this game functions. And people just don't realize how it would affect it. So the next time that you're griping and pissing and bitching and moaning about something, ask yourself just for a minute, how would it change the game if they were to eliminate whatever it is that you're griping about? Now, the day off from the Contest of Mayors, you'll notice that there will be a lot less stuff on the global market. Right as the Contest of Mayors ends, like within the first, I'd say 2 to 4 hours of the Contest of Mayors ending, you're going to notice a lot of rares on the global market because people are selling off their winnings, right? But the day off from the contest, you're going to notice that there's not a lot of factory items like raw materials. It's really just a really plain, boring day, right? Why is that? Well, because people are not forced to make things. Why do you think the Contest of Mayors exists in the SimCity world? That way it forces players to make all items. That way it keeps the algorithm all mixed up. Because here's the thing. If they were to eliminate the Contest of Mayors from the game, what do you think would happen? How many people do you think would make glass tomorrow when they get a task for it? They wouldn't be getting a task for it, right? So why would they make it? How many people make stuff? How many of you watching this right now make stuff because you had an assignment for it? Otherwise, you would not have made it, right? Well, that's why they do it. Because it keeps the global market, it keeps it at a wide variety. Otherwise, what would happen is everybody would make the items that turn the highest profit. They'd make the items that they need for their game. And the only things that you would ever see on global is stuff that they were disposing of that they didn't need for anything. And it would just be all this, everybody would be making the same thing, right? So that is why. And that is why the highest profitable items that are made are asked for the most within the game. Ever notice something? Go to your, I'm going to show you guys something. You ever go to your mayor's mansion thing and it shows you like your cash tasks where it says, make this, make that. There's a baker's one that says make donuts. Why do you think that is? Because they know that donuts is one of the highest profitable items that you're going to be making, right? Now, I don't even know where my damn thing is. I think it's up here. Oh, is my brightness up? My stuff is always hella dark. Oh, there it is. Okay, so they try to get you to boost your population. They try to get you to go up in level right away. At first, you're going to have the ones, I believe it's for veggies. It's the first one. Let's see. Cargo, mad scientist. They try to get you to spend money on all this stuff, man. Pop boost. Where is it? Okay. Probably passed it is what happened. I know I've got it. Baker, right there. Make 5,000 donuts, right? That is because that is a very profitable item in the game, and they know people are going to be making it at level 18. Now, how many of you complain about sugar? I never complain about the sugar, really. Why is that? Because I know that when the day off from the contest of mayors comes and I don't see any sugar usually, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't find sugar for my donut production. What do I do? It's like, well, you bitched all week about how you didn't want it there. Now it's not there. Now you got to make it for yourself, right? Well, that sucks, doesn't it? So now we should, because it's a day off from the contest of mayors, we should see a lot of burgers and pizzas and things like that, because people are selling off what they don't need. They're selling off all their shit that they got from the past, which is why you probably saw a lot of beach items this week. Everybody was selling off all their beach stuff. And you got to look at where people are at within the past, what's going on in the game, all the stuff like that. Now, all of these things are the way they are for a reason. The Daniel feature is excellent. If he was not around, how many times has he bought stuff from your depot that you didn't want him to buy? Yeah, that sucks. But why was it sitting there for that many days? If you didn't want him to buy, I mean, come on, what was it there for? Were you saving it for yourself? Was it like a backup storage? Because that's not a storage facility. You can't get it back. Was it because you wanted it for somebody else in your group? Well, then you should have said, hey, man, it's just been up for like 2 days. Daniel is going to buy it. Somebody please buy it. Or grabbed your feeder, bought it, and reposted it for sale. But how many people would gripe and piss and moan the moment that Daniel was gone? It's kind of like one of those things, you don't realize what you have until it's gone. How many of you depend each week on Daniel buying your ammo crates? How many of you depend each week on him buying burgers or things that you don't want? How many times? A lot, probably. I mean, I do. If you're playing the game correctly, you really should, because essentially you're going to be producing the highest priced items if you don't want to make the most money. But you're going to be producing the ones that turn the highest profit if you want to make the most money, right? So either way, you're going to obtain burgers whether you make them or not. You're going to get them through gift boxes. You're going to get them just in general, right? And somehow, some way, I always end up with cheese fries or something stupid, accidental purchase maybe, or, you know, it could be from Omega Canister Tasks. It could be from the stupid gift bags or whatever. But the point of the matter is, and then you also have to take into consideration that Daniel also, you can make money off him every single day. All you have to do is go to his city once a day and buy all of the 6 things that he has posted, because he puts them for base price, and you can sell every one of those items to make a profit, to make money. But he also sells you a rare item, at least 2 each day. Look at that. There's 3 airports. I can make money off all this stuff. Why would I complain about that? You know? Yeah, it sucks when he buys your stuff that's been sitting there for days. But, you know, to be fair, it couldn't have been too important, or it wouldn't have been sitting there that long, right? And if it was, maybe you should have figured it out because you knew he was going to buy it. You knew he was going to. And if he didn't buy the stuff that you didn't want, you would not be happy with that. If you were to go to do an epic and you could just search on the global market, and everybody started searching for storage cameras, and you could never find another storage camera again, I bet you guys would all be sitting there going, damn, I wish they would put it back the way it was, because now I never find anything. Or now it's not even fun anymore. I can, every time I have a house upgrade, I can just type in what I need. What's the point in making anything? What's the point in tokens? What's the point in anything anymore, right? You know those people that hack? You're like, oh, well, you have to hack. You need storage. You don't even need storage. You don't need storage to be a hacker, okay? All you have to have is Sims cache. That's it. Because if you have enough Sims cache, you can do whatever you want. You want to do a house upgrade? You just drag and drop the materials, and it's going to give you some obscene amount of cash price, like $4,000 for all the materials, right? But what does it matter if you're hacking your cache anyway? If you have an unlimited amount of cash, what reason do you have to do much of anything? You can hack the keys, you can hack the coins. So why hack the contest of mayors? Why? Just to be an asshole? Yeah, that's all that's all that's for. Oh, for the buildings? They can hack buildings now. They can just take whatever buildings they want. So that's not why. They're literally doing it just to ruin the fun for everybody else. And for the people that actually want to play competitively or decently. So, yeah, there's a lot of features within the game that most people complain about that I wouldn't change. If I was to be, giving, somebody advice on what should be changed about this game, the things that I would say are not the things that most people would say. I would say that even if you want to make money, even if they wanted to keep everything the way that it is and still make a lot of money off everybody, because let's face it, they are working, they are providing us with a game, they should be able to get paid, right? You shouldn't expect anybody to do anything for nothing, right? Everybody deserves to get paid. So when you see these YouTubers like myself or whatever, and we do videos, and you guys, you don't subscribe or you don't like, or you bitch about YouTubers having advertisements or being sellouts or whatever, it's like they're doing it for free. You don't think that their time is valued? You wouldn't do anything for free. You don't think that they deserve to get paid too? Yes. EA deserves to make money. Yes. But you also have to make it to where you're giving back to your customers, right? I'm not griping and bitching and pissing and moaning about the fact that I'm not pissed